If you don't want to be a cooked Gen Z and you are tired of living the same life day by day, you don't have the finances, you don't have the right physique that you want, you don't have the right relationships that you want. Well, look, one thing you got to really do is put yourself in a better position. Here's a little bit of an extra background on who I am. My name's T Pen. I'm a software engineer grad, and in the last year of me being my software engineering program, I found about high ticket sales. It is about remote sales. And the reason why I even dove into that field specifically, I went from software engineering all the way into sales. Completely two different things, in my opinion, because when you're a software engineer, you're coding behind a computer. You're not really chatting with people compared to someone who is in sales, you know, the identity you might be getting from those types of people are like, oh, these guys are extroverts. These guys know how to speak to people very well. No, there's a lot of introverts who are in sales and they're really, really good at sales. But the reason why I even got into sales is number one, the economy is super, super cooked. And number two, I've always had that entrepreneur mindset where I wanted to make my own money, be my own boss, and ultimately be able to buy the things that I want to buy and have the freedom that I want. And number three, it's all about the communication skill set. Because as you know, if you study a lot of millionaires, like 90% of them actually built up a skill set of being in sales and then starting up their business, right? There's a lot of millionaires out there who've actually understood the psychology behind sales. Everything we do is sales. Even marketing. Sales and marketing go hand in hand, but this video is all about why a lot of you guys who are in school, right, whether it's college or high school, or even like people who just graduated and they're looking to find a job, as you know, the economy is cooked. And if you're in computer science or software engineering, whatever you want to call it, you know damn well if you don't land an internship, it's going to be extremely hard to land a job. And the only way to really land a proper job is either grinding through a lot of applications, joining startups, or even getting a referral. But why even waste a year or 6 months or freaking 18 months trying to find a high paying role where you could actually position yourself to learn a new high income skill that ultimately pays you as you advance? And I'm not saying high ticket sales is easy. I'm saying high ticket sales is a grind too. It's gonna take you some time to actually make those first 3K months, 5K months, 7K months, 10K months. But as you progress throughout your sales career, as you may know, sales, you're still trading your time to make money, but you're also becoming super good at a skill set where like you could always use that skill set any day to make 10K, 20K, 30K, 40K months. When you start to understand sales, when you start to understand the psychology, you start to master the skill set, you could always run your own business. And a lot of you guys who are in like software engineering, I know for a fact that not a lot of you guys want to stay in the corporate world these days. No one really wants to stay inside of the corporate world as the economy is like really, really cooked. The inflation's messed up, prices are getting jacked up, and people in the US or Canada aren't really satisfied with living in this country because everything's super expensive. So a lot of you guys understand that, hey, being in a corporate job, yes, it's good because you get cash flow coming in, but it's not the end goal. A lot of you guys want to start up a business. And in order for you to start up a business, you have to master skill sets. For example, sales, marketing, copywriting. There's a lot to the business aspect. And first thing you could start off with is understanding sales because without sales, you could do marketing, but if you don't know how a person purchases items, if you don't know how or what makes people purchase something, you're not going to truly understand how to run a business. Copywriting is very important and sales is very important, but if you're looking to just sell services at like 2K, 5K, 10K, it requires you to understand how to sell it to those customers or those prospects. So I guess this video, all like this entire video is really geared towards people who are in school or who just recently graduate, who are still on the hunt of finding a job. One thing I could really tell you right now off the bat is while you're applying to different applications, whether it's in the corporate world or whatever the case is, you also should focus on building another skill set because you don't want to become replaceable. Because as you know, AI is also coming up slowly creeping up and taking people's jobs. So the goal here is to not become replaceable. The goal here is to actually learn a skill set or two, master them to a point where you're not replaceable. Because if you're in the 1% or the 5% or the 10% of the bracket of you understanding the skill set at a very, very high level, no one's going to replace you because they need you in the company. They need you in that position where you could ultimately provide a lot of value to the company or the business. That's pretty much it. So if you're someone who's struggling to put yourself in a better position financially, I really recommend all of you to go all out when it comes to high ticket sales. It's not that hard to get into high ticket sales. It is a grind. A lot of you guys have the resources at hand. Literally use YouTube. You have ChatGPT. Figure it out. If you still have any questions, comment down below or just DM me on IG. That's pretty much it. I hope all of you have a blessed day. Take care.